Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Triad Podcast, where we try not to mess the podcast up. Hello, MVP Beans. He's like, oh no, I'm watching something right now. Sorry, I know. We're having a weird day, or had a weird weekend I had to make up for. Because there was a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about, and then I didn't get to show up Saturday. So I was like, well, I guess we'll do it one Monday if we have to. So here we are.
Here we are.
But it's good to see you, MVP. We appreciate it, Mr. Beans. So, Trevor, how are you tonight?
I'm good. And your mic is on, and my mic is on.
Good.
So
We beat OBS this time.
Yeah.
We got him this time around. So, anyway, are you ready, good sir?
Are you talking to me?
I am.
I think I'm ready.
You think you're ready?
Are
I
you
don't
ready?
know. You're making me nervous. Trevor.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
To make you nervous.
Just keep me on edge. Yeah. Okay.
What
well,
edge you want to keep?
Let's just get on with it. Okay.
Play.
So, yeah, Melania. So you are aware of what happened, right? There was some other pictures or some more nonsense that came out. I don't believe for a second she was actually working for Trump, like Epstein or anything like that. I'm not concerned about that. So,
yeah, that's as far as I heard that she.
But apparently the pressure's been getting some momentum, and so she released a statement, and then she added something else quite interesting, and this has caused even more speculation. It's old news at this point, but it's causing more speculation. So,
Well, what was the statement?
The statement was she had nothing to do with Epstein. And then on top of that, she said that the victims ought to have a statement before Congress. They ought to get their day in court. You know? So, yeah. And that has caused all sorts of speculation. So I thought we would watch her speech and then react. So what do you say to that, good sir?
I say, let the woman talk.
Let the woman talk.
He who's without sin cast first.
He is who without sin. I'm not sure.
Jesus said that.
I know, but she didn't do anything wrong, so I don't know how it doesn't matter. We're just going to watch this. So,
First Lady Melania Trump.
With the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards.
Hang on a minute. So, Artismite. I don't know how to say your name, sir. He says in the plagiarized Bible. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I'm sure you're more than welcome to elaborate. Anyway, moving on.
Humility and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in a detail in my book, Melania.
You got a thought, good sir?
Was it an Epstein party? That was just my thought.
That's a good question. I do not know. I do not know. You can look it up while we finish it up really quick, though. I got to fix more chat crap here, so we'll finish this up
The
first.
first time
real
I
quick.
crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false. I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI interviews surrounding the Epstein matter. I have never had any knowledge of Epstein's abuse of his victims. I was never involved in any capacity. I was not a participant, was never on Epstein's plane, and never visited his private island.
Okay, so I do need to add a point of clarification here. So, when I first saw this statement last week, like the impression that I was under was that she had went behind Trump's back and had basically said, hey, the victims need to talk. And that was like the big spin that everybody was saying. Listening to it right now, it sounds like it's more of a reaction to, you know, basically more of the same generic accusations that she worked for Epstein. So this is more of an attempt to kind of shut down those rumors. And the stuff she says about the victims at the end is almost tacked on. That's the impression I'm getting. What are your thoughts, good sir?
Well, I this is most I've heard about it, so I don't really know.
You have no thoughts. You're
What are
a
thoughts?
you're a blank slate of wit and charm. So
I was trying to look up the party thing.
okay, Arts. I cannot read his name. That's driving me nuts. Artemis. Artemis. Let's just say artsy.
Artemis.
Artsy. Are you talking about like a particular version of the Bible, or are you saying the Bible itself is plagiarized? That's driving me nuts, man. I'm like, I don't know what you mean. So anyway,
I think he may have left.
is he gone? Okay. So he just like left a little hate comment and then just right away. Okay.
A little hate comment. And took
Okay.
off.
That's all right. This is YouTube.
I have never been legally accused or convinced of a crime in connection with Epstein sex trafficking, abuse of minors, and other repulsive behavior. The false smears about me from mean-spirited and politically motivated individuals and entities looking to cause damage to my good name, to gain financially and climb politically, must stop. My attorneys and I have fought these unfounded and baseless lies with success and will continue to maintain my sound reputation without hesitation. To date, several individuals and companies have been legally obligated to publicly apologize and retract their lies about me, such as Daily Beast, James Carville, and HarperCollins, UK. Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
So that's
Here's
that.
the First Lady, Melania.
So, the last part where she's like, hey, they need to stand before Congress is what everybody's talking about. This is obviously something Trump probably doesn't want, considering how much he's fought over the Epstein thing. So there was a lot of speculation.
Why would he not want that?
Probably because he's either got buddies on it, or maybe he was even protecting his wife. That's the thing. Like, he's obviously protecting somebody, and this kind of gets into the theme of the show. It's like a tale of two Trumps. Like, when he does something really stupid, it's because he gets emotional. And I think somebody was telling him, like, my theory is that Pam Bondi or somebody like that was sitting there saying that, oh, they've got a bunch of fake stuff about your wife, or a bunch of fake stuff about you, or a bunch of fake stuff about your friends. And then he was like, forget it, until everybody put a bunch of pressure on him. And then he signed Thomas Massey's law, but he still hates Massey because, it's basically because Massey one-upped him. So he's very mad about that, but he, acquiesced, basically. And, so I think he was covering it up to try to run cover for her or his friends or something. That's my opinion. Do I know that? No. But people were saying that she did this behind his back, and they're on the verge of getting a divorce and all this crazy stuff, which I'm not sold on that, especially now after listening to it, because to me it sounds like she was mainly concerned about clearing her name, and she had kind of added that at the end.
Yeah,
I don't think
what it sounded like.
Yeah, I don't think she was boldly marching into the White House and making a speech without Trump's permission, which is kind of how they sold it. Yeah, it doesn't make sense of what I've seen here. So,
yeah, if she's at the White House, I doubt she would be going behind his back. That would be difficult to do.
Yeah, it'd be difficult to pull off, and it just doesn't seem like that was the point. She's just like, hey, let the victims have their say. Like, it's pretty generic. But what was interesting is when we were first trying to find this full speech, everybody and the dog was cutting that part out. I don't know if you
Which
recall the last half of it. Like, they were all talking about how she was trying to clear her name.
So just
Like
the
all
first
the
part.
different news feeds on Twitter or X, they were including the part of the speech where she's like, clearing her name, but the whole, hey, let the victims talk, let them sit before Congress, like, that was kind of a bugger to find. So I don't know. I'm going to say I blame the CIA. It's all a giant conspiracy, but
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, it was kind of a bear. But certainly, at the very least, for whatever reason, everybody's been talking about her clearing her name, which does seem to be the main point of the speech. So I don't think, now looking at it, I don't think Trump and Melania are having some sort of like secret marital strife or something like that. It doesn't seem like that's what's going on to me. What do you think?
Well, everybody loves drama.
Yeah. As if the Epstein files haven't created enough drama, though.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you need to make stuff up? There's already so much going on. But anyway.
Just like keep adding and adding and adding.
Right. Anywho, so there was that, and then let's see what else we got here. I think most of the stuff we're going to be seeing on here is just more of the same. We got leaked audio confirms Epstein/Melania relationship. Should we?
Let's try it.
Let's
See
try
if
it.
it's AI or not.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Audio has just resurfaced that implicates
That's loud.
Melania Trump, Donald Trump, and their connections with Epstein. And it's Epstein saying it. Do these people think we're dumb? Do they think we're dumb? Do they think the internet
Play
does
the
not
audio.
exist? Melania Trump,
It's
of
at
course.
the top.
Oh, sorry, that guy was really loud. Hang on.
said randomly, out of
Randomly.
nowhere,
Out
me
of
and
nowhere.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't know each other, and I was not one of his victims. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's listen to...
We all know today,
right,
since
show
the
me the
sender's full
audio.
name was
What are you
redacted.
doing
Here's
to
someone
me?
else's thoughts.
Point Sarah just made.
Trevor, we may have been clickbaited. Okay, wait, here we go. Maybe. Let's see.
Everything is clickbait these days.
I know, it's awful.
Edwards, and get started today. Now, as I
There's
said,
an ad.
Melania Trump is implicated by Epstein in this now resurfaced audio where Jeffrey Epstein bragged about his close relationship with the president and the first lady.
So how do you know this?
I found was close to straight 10 years. So you probably know he had a scalp reduction. Because he had the same male pattern movement that we all have. He had his scalp moved and start. But he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And he'd say, tell me, what's it like in there? He'd say, you know.
What? Hang on.
He'd say, tell me, what's it like in there? Scalp reduction. Because he had the same male pattern movement that we all have. He had his scalp moved and start. But he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And he'd say, tell me, what's it like in there? He'd say, you know, you like having sex with your wife? How often do they? He'd say, it's great. Seriously, Michael, how often do we have sex? I mean, don't you want to? You and I can go upstairs, or tomorrow come over. There's this girl coming in from Los Angeles, part of the Hawaiian Tropic contest. So come over with your car. You're gonna have a great time. I promise you, Michael. You know, it's just me and you. You're gonna have a great time. Be up here.
Okay, so far I am not hearing anything that indicates this guy knows Melania. I'm hearing a lot of crass, boy talk, I guess. But it's
I did hear an Emma name, but it sounds like Michael.
yeah, he's talking to Michael, and he mentions Trump's male pattern baldness. Like, okay. I've heard him mention Melania in passing once. I have not heard anything that would make me think Melania is tied to the guy. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, we'll give this another minute, and then we're going to move on, because I think this is just clickbait, honestly.
3 o'clock, we could go upstairs. The whole time, the attorney's been on the phone, listening. He's setting it up. Because he wants a story. You must have had a better wife, right? I said, yes. Tell me about it. And the wife's on the speakerphone, listening. Donald said, I know I think you're really hot. And I know you think you're a guy. Michael is like the end of the world, the best guy on earth. You will be married to. You're wrong. Just listen to the next 20 minutes. And go with the office, set you up.
Right, there you go. And of course, we also have.
Oh, there we go. That proved everything, Trevor.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, there we go. Clear as mud. That just proved it all. Wow.
What did it prove?
Nothing, Trevor. Not a thing at all. Yeah, we got Melania denies association with Epstein. The First Lady observed the existence of what she called fake images and statements about alleged links with the sex offender. It was not immediately clear what images or statements she meant. Yeah, I'm not. It's just more, Russiagate crap, I guess would be the best way to put it. I'm not super...
AI stuff.
Yeah, AI stuff, gargly recordings that you can barely understand. Just more of the same. But the more interesting thing is her pushing for the, victims to actually talk. because that gives it legitimacy regardless of what Trump has to say about it. It kind of throws the getting justice for those people back in the limelight, which I think is important. But I'm not convinced.
Personally, that's who I want to hear from is more of the victims.
Who?
More of the victims.
Yeah, like
more of their stories.
Yeah, we need to hear the victim stories exactly. We need to hear we need that on the record, and we need the 302 forms to be unredacted. To my knowledge, they still haven't been. We're still in a holding pattern. So
90%.
Yeah, we're still in a holding pattern with it. What was it? Yeah, 2.3 million documents left, but I don't know what's going to possibly be in those, but my main concern is like just still getting those 302 forms redacted. That's kind of that was Massey's big thing. That's the stuff I want to see.
It's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, maybe 10% of it might be important. So I don't know. So anyway.
Or 90% redacted might be important.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's Melania's statement. Not as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. I was kind of buying into the marital strife theory until I heard the speech. I'm like, nah, this is just her reacting to that fake news. So, anyway. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.